What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another PokeMarketLab midweek market update. And just like on the previous midweek market updates, we're going to give away some stickers. So if you didn't know, if you're new here, number one, like, comment, or subscribe if you like the video. And two, if you would like to get your name in the hat to pull a sticker, leave a comment in this comment section below, and you could have your name pulled next week to get a sticker in the mail at no cost to you. So last week's winners are DeadCloud03 and Forever H3. I replied to your comments. Hit me up at PokeMarketLab@gmail.com and we'll get a sticker in the mail for you at no cost. And with that, let's get on to the good stuff here. We are talking... First, we're going to start with the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. I've talked about this before, and I'm going to say it again. These do really, really well in the Scarlet and Violet era. It's that stamped promo that really drives two things. It drives the box, the demand for the box up, but also people are cracking the box to collect that Pokemon Center stamped promo or to sell it, because those promos, in some cases, depending on the art, do really, really well in the secondary market. So Stellar Crown here on the screen, market price of about $93 a pop. And if you didn't know, the Pokemon Center ETBs are exclusive to the Pokemon Center website, and they're about $60. Actually, they're always $60. So these running up to 93 is pretty good. So a nice little return on a set that really hasn't been out that long. And Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center ETB, shocked. There's only 3 of these listed on TCG Player, and the lowest listing now is $277. And of course, this has that awesome Charmander Pokemon Center stamped promo in here that is in and of itself selling for $100. So obviously that's driving up the price of this box. And the only way to either to get that promo is to buy it raw like this or buy the box. So I have one of these squirreled away. Obsidian Flames itself as a set is okay. It's not fantastic, but that promo itself is just driving that box up. So certainly something to keep in mind for future releases in Scarlet and Violet is maybe you know, pre-order a couple of those Pokemon Center ETBs on the Pokemon Center website. Just be aware of the cost. They are $60. Some other Pokemon Center ETBs that are doing really well. Obviously 151 continues to do super well. It's got that Snorlax promo in here. These will not be reprinted. I say they won't be reprinted. We did see a restock on the Pokemon Center website last week out of the blue for Twilight Masquerade Pokemon Center ETBs. And I say it's a reprint because this held on, the stocks held on for over 24 hours. If it was a restock, I would have expected it to sell out pretty quick. So either there wasn't a ton of demand, people didn't know about it, didn't want them, or there was a lot of boxes sold on the website, on Pokemon Center website. So I would call it a reprint. So that one was kind of odd. A little concerning. My only take here is maybe I think there's some other countries where they do sell Pokemon Center ETBs. Maybe they moved some inventory around and shipped it back to Pokemon Center USA to resell here. So maybe it wasn't a reprint, just a reallocation of inventory somewhere else. We'll never know. It didn't crash the price really on the secondary market for these. So we'll see. That's slightly concerning, but there's no precedent for the Pokemon Company reprinting Pokemon Center ETBs. So, and of course, Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center ETB is people are actually paying this price, $400 a pop. A couple people paid $500 a pop on these. Obviously, you know, one thing to keep in mind when you're seeing pre-sale for Pokemon Center ETBs on TCG Player, the only people that can pre-sell are actual physical location LGSs, local game stores, for any product on TCG Player. So when you see listings here, these are big box stores. So what happens is typically after release day, when pre-sale is no longer happening on TCG Player and it's open to anyone, it's most of the Pokemon Center ETBs that are being sold on TCG Player are from individual people. So because there's no distribution for the Pokemon Center versions of ETBs. So there'll be my point is there'll be a lot more inventory that comes to market for Prismatic. if you have to have one of these, I wouldn't pay these prices. It's possible it goes up, but this is one of those situations where the most of the volume that will come to TCG Player after release day. Just something to keep in mind. And we're moving on to Twilight Masquerade boxes here. Very, very flat the last month. This is certainly kind of gotten The focus has shifted certainly from Twilight Masquerade to other sets like Prismatic Evolutions and Surging Sparks. You know, it's a solid, decent set. Certainly benefited from the start of the bull run. I would say Twilight Masquerade was really the start of the bull run, and then that continued into Surging Sparks pre-orders here. So boxes is kind of flat. These are drying up though. This is certainly a candidate for reprints in the future. 600 of these is sold in the last month, and that really hasn't pushed the price up. But there's only 140 of these listed on TCG Player. So I would say at some point, if we don't hear news about a reprint, these will start climbing up. I don't know that I would hop in at 150. I think closer to 125 would probably be a good entry point for cracking or investing. And Twilight Masquerade singles, there's a few doing, quite well here. Certainly the masks did not do well. We have hyper rare and special illustration rare cards here that are quite bad in value. They really did. It's really the Greninjas, the special illustration rare, that's kind of carrying things. And the price on that still doing well. It's fairly flat. Again, there's a lot of other focus right now. Very, very solid card, very solid price. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. And EV, of course, here is going up quite well with a 16% return in the last month, sitting at about $63 market value. And it's certainly telling that these mask SIRs, these are SIRs, to keep that in mind from a pull rate standpoint, aren't doing as well as just an illustration rare in this EV. So that EV is a beautiful card, certainly on my list to purchase at some point here, though. I might get priced out here at some point. So yeah, definitely a solid set, but nothing. It's not blowing us away at this point. So Stellar Crown is performing nicely. A nice 15% return in the last month or so, sitting at about $125 a booster box. And I think that's a really good price for this. Keep that in mind. Scarlet Violet base is sitting at $120 a pop. And I've said this before, I'd much rather have Stellar Crown or Temporal or Paradox. And Stellar Crown is still very young. It's sold over 6,200 boxes on TCG Player. Still decent quantity here. Available, but this certainly that dried up. That was almost 1,000 boxes not long ago, and it's a lot just dried up with the recent Black Friday sale. So solid set. Again, it's not blowing me away, but there's a lot here for everyone. You get the Terapagos at the top here, and then another interesting just regular illustration rare in the Squirtle and Bulbasaur here, kind of holding up that $50 price point. So no crazy chases in here. I think 125 is a perfect price for this. I think that makes sense. I don't think that's too high or too low. I think that's a nice organic price representative of the singles that are in this set. A very, very fun set to open. And looking at the Terapagos here, again, very actually kind of down a little bit here again, as I think, there's plenty of volume sold here, but just not enough demand to really move the price on this. In contrast to the Squirtle, which is doing quite well with a nice 15% return over the last month, sitting at that $50 price point. And same with that Bulbasaur, right at that $50 price point with about a 12% return in the last month. So those illustration rares, again, those scene cards, those cute cards of the original 151, that's a theme in Scarlet and Violet. Those scene cards of the original 151, not big bad close-ups in battle or anything like that, just very cute, serene, I would call it even cozy artwork, and the market absolutely loves them. All right, let's talk about Prismatic. I keep talking about it not to beat a dead horse or to hype it necessarily, but just kind of to come up with, how do we approach it as investors and collectors with the price being so high? And the price is actually quite stable on these ETBs right now. Remember, this is a specialty set. There are no booster boxes. It's really the ETBs or the booster bundles. That's your best bet from a price per pack standpoint. So these are still sitting at about $100 a pop. And yes, people are paying this. We've seen almost 2,000 sales pre-ordered here on TCG Player. And that's just TCG Player. And I think there is a lot of people. I think the majority of people are still waiting for some kind of other shoe to drop in terms of pre-orders coming to market. And we're not seeing it. And we're getting to the point where I don't know that we're going to see it. The word from distributors is that, and I've heard this from multiple people that have distributor access, is that allocations are rough with massive cuts because the demand across the board is through the roof, right? We're in a bull market. We got scalpers back in action. We got flippers back in action. Investors are back in action. Collectors are obviously in action on what is probably one of the better sets that I personally, this is my set out of anything in Scarlet Violet or even Sword and Shield. This is the set from an artwork standpoint for me. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. So there's just so much demand across the board. People are going to be waiting in line at big box stores like Target and Walmart on release day to try to secure these and flip them, and it's going to get to the point where it's not good. We're already seeing that. We're seeing a lot of flack for some retailers online selling above MSRP. I'm probably going to do another video on that. There's a few points there. There's absolutely two sides of the coin there, but there's also some considerations to have when that happens. And unfortunately, this is a result of what happens when we're in a bull run. Is people start getting ticked off. People's emotions are hurt and feelings are hurt, and unfortunately, that's what's happening with Prismatic here. I think under $100 is still possible on this. You're just going to have quick trigger fingers, and at some point, again, we've talked about this. You're gonna have to make a decision of whether you're going to come in at $100, because if we're not going to see any huge allocations come to market for pre-orders, then $100 is probably going to be the base of the price, not the top. I don't see it getting any better on release day, because what's going to happen on release day as we get closer, and this will run up before release day. The realization to people is going to be that I'm not going to be able to get in at a cheaper price. I've waited. It's not happening, and release day is going to, yes, we'll have more product come to market. Yes, we'll have more sellers come to market on TCG Player, but the demand, and I've talked about this before, the demand that you can kind of construe from the price that you see on TCG Player is not all of the demand. There's demand that's waiting in the wings with their money, saying, I'm not paying $100 a pop, but I will pay $70 a pop. And if anything comes to market at that price, that demand, that money moves into that market, right? And I think there's a lot of money waiting for this to pop. So it just depends. Again, we've seen pre-orders from a lot of the big box stores. We know LGSs are having tough allocations. Maybe there's additional waves here, but this isn't just a product that people just want because there's a bull run, right? This is an organic. This is I think an objectively good product, and obviously we're seeing the result of that in the price and the demand here. There's we've gone through this before. There is card after card after card that are just gorgeous. There's multiple cards in here that can be worth triple digits easily, right? So I don't think it's inorganic. It's just, yes, you have some demand that wouldn't normally be there in the form of scalpers and so on and so forth. You're going to have that in any bull market, but so yeah, I don't have any good answer here. Just keep your eyes and ears to the ground for any re-releases here. But if you have to, any pre-orders, but if you have to have it, you need to start making the decision. Okay, do I grab a couple boxes here? And you maybe dollar cost average, right? You grab a couple boxes at maybe 100, maybe a little less if you can find it at 100, and then if more comes available cheaper, you gobble that up and you kind of dollar cost average down if you can. So, or maybe you're okay missing out. Sometimes that has to happen too. So, that's it for this week's midweek market update. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you're looking for a sticker or looking to maybe get your name pulled in next week's video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you think we're doing a great job, and we will see you on the next video. Take care, everyone.